All right, everyone. Something that's been lost actually in the weeds during this election is actual platforms, like literal issues that affect you and I on a day-to-day basis. If you're in the United States, of course. I would tell people in other countries, U.S. foreign policy is rather important considering the size of our military. So, it matters a little bit to you as well. Here's Trump versus Biden on the issues. And it's kind of difficult to actually make such a video, unfortunately, because I'm not exactly sure where Biden stands on certain issues. In 2020, in defense of Biden, his sympathy for the devil mode right now. In 2020, while I did not like what Biden said he wanted to do, I don't support leftoid policies. At least we knew that there were actual propositions being made. Well, come on, Jack, I'm going to make you do push-ups and then I'm going to forgive the student loan debt. It was never going to happen, and it really hasn't. It's been injuncted by the courts because it was never constitutional to begin with. But we knew that it was a policy that he was putting forward. I'm going to pass big infrastructure stuff, and we're going to build lots of infrastructure. Pete loves running trains, so, we're going to have more of those right up the ass of the nation. Well, it's not a policy that I support, but you knew that the policy existed. Reversal of Trump's tax cuts and things like that. That was what we got in 2020. In 2024, we have a relatively sparse platform actually there. We know that Biden intends to let Trump's tax cuts lapse, which I don't think is very popular. Although apparently for some time, most of the public really did believe that the tax cuts were a bad idea because of nonstop propaganda. Other than that, though, and continuing to send a shit ton of money to Ukraine and Gaza, I don't really know what Biden actually stands for. That is that there's an empty campaign. The campaign is basically Orange Man bad. Defend democracy, give me my fucking ice cream. That's basically what I hear from him whenever he speaks. We're going to beat that Donald Trump. We're going to beat that Orange Man. Well, that's fine. Okay, what are you going to do after you beat him? I would like to know. What are your actual proposals? What's your tax policy? What's your foreign policy going to look like? What's your military policy in general going to be? I don't know. I have no clue. With Donald Trump, it's much more fleshed out. You've got Agenda 47, for example. His very first video that he made when he launched his campaign, as a Rumble exclusive, by the way, was basically a plethora of anti-censorship for the internet, which by the way, I thought got an A++. It was one of the best things that he's ever done. His proposals, in fact, were effectively identical to mine for saving the internet and making sure that free speech and free expression are actually protected. Since then, he has gone on to release multiple planks in this platform. I mean, it's a ponderous ship at this point. In fact, his platform might be a little bit too obtuse for most people. You got to keep it a little bit more simple. But with Joe Biden, it's like he's on a plank. There is no platform. He's just swirling around in the waters, holding on to a piece of wood. Other than cutting Trump's tax cuts out, I don't really know what he intends to do. I know that Trump intends to, for example, continue aid to Ukraine, which I don't necessarily support, but it is, at least he's stating it outright. Joe Biden, he sort of waffles on foreign policy issues on a regular basis. Trump v. Biden on the issues is very, very stark. One of the candidates, I have an idea of what they want to do. I may not agree with every part of that platform, but they've told me what they intend to do. Now, politicians, of course, they lie, and maybe they don't do what they say that they want to do. That's perfectly fine. I expect that from anyone running for presidency. With Biden, though, I don't have anything really to go on. The biggest problem with his campaign is that he's so single-mindedly focused on democracy and we got to defeat Orange Man, basically just, vote for me so that we can beat the other guy, that there's no platform there actually at all. It doesn't really seem to exist. I'm sure that he brings up issues at rallies occasionally. I know he talks about student loans. That's not going to happen. He talks about abortion, but there's, Trump isn't planning to do anything about it at the federal level, so that doesn't really, it's not meaningful in any sense. And I'm pro-choice. I know I get flack from my own audience often because of this. I do believe in a woman's right to choose, with obviously certain limits attached to that. But I don't know. Is Biden going to pass like a federal Northam abortion bill or something? And at least tell me what your position is on this. You always tell me that Donald Trump is evil and hates women and wants them to be barefoot in the kitchen, but then you don't propose any countermeasure. You don't propose anything. I don't know what the hell Biden's position on abortion is. He'll come out and he'll say something like, those fanatic Republicans is trying to pass a federal abortion ban. Okay, Joe, what do you want to do? Well, I believe in a woman's right to choose. Okay, well, do you mean in the Northam sense or do you mean in the common sense? Because there's a difference between the two. The fact is that he's got such weird views and is completely demented that he hasn't even told people what he's going to do. I don't know what your tax proposal is, other than letting Trump's tax cuts lapse and increasing the capital gains, which, again, I definitely don't support. So you want to increase the business tax rate, and you vaguely want to defend a woman's right to have an abortion. Well, that's not really much of a platform now, is it? Okay, now you're swirling around with two planks of wood, so it's a little bit better. Maybe you can nail them together. I don't know what Biden stands for. That's the whole point. The point is that it's difficult to even criticize him because I don't know what his views will be. Basically, I have to judge him based on what he's done in office. Okay, so you want to raise taxes, presumptively, start wars, conduct yourself in a heinous manner with regards to diplomacy, alienating several of our key allies in the process. You remember that time that he was, saying, well, the Japanese is bigots. Yeah, okay. These people of color, as your party would term them, I know that the Japanese aren't necessarily of a darker complexion than you, but they're not Caucasians, that they're bigots or something like that. I thought that was racist, by the way, to say. I thought so, anyway. The Democrats keep telling me so. Trump, for better or worse, whether you like his platform or not, whether you like the planks that it comprises, he's told you what he intends to do. By the way, he's rejected the Project 2025 thing, although I think that he's on board with the deregulatory aspect of it. But with Biden, it's sort of like empty vessel mode. Hey, I'm the Democrat. Vote for me because I am not the other guy. That's basically his campaign at this point. It's devolved, it's shriveled away into almost nothing. That's about all. Peace out.